Alright, hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Zuzu, aka planetzuz. Today's video is going to be about some books that I read summer 2021. I've been trying to get back into reading for a while now because I used to be a really avid reader. Then I fell off, so I'm getting back into it. And I read a couple of good books this summer, and I'm hoping to read even more. But for now, just enjoy this video of some of the books that I read over the past few months. Hope you enjoy. Alright, so the first book I read this summer is, not it backwards, the first book I read this summer is The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, The Japanese Art of Decluttering and Organizing by Marie Kondo. You may already know who she is. I feel like this book is a great add-on to her Netflix show. I got this book because I knew that when I came home from college, I was going to want to declutter my room because it was becoming a very stressful space for me to live in, and I really didn't enjoy the layout of my room, how much stuff I had. It was just overbearing. And this book definitely helped just to have it open while I was doing that. I feel like the main takeaway from this book is that cleaning is intentional and cleaning is mindfulness, and that when we clean, we have a space where we can move around in and live in comfortably, rather than a space that is really cluttered and just kind of stressful, you know what I mean? I think having a clean space helps to clear your mind. She really emphasizes the significance of like the spirit of your home and the spirit of your well-being intertwining, and I really appreciate that. And it was just like a short and sweet read. Definitely some tips and tricks that I took from the book. The best part about it is that it kind of teaches you how to clean once and never really have to do it again, at least not at that caliber, you know, because you not only learn how to take things out of your space, but how to redistribute them in a way that is actually efficient so you don't have to do it again. Really great book. Definitely recommend if you want to tidy up your space. So this next book is a classic, and it is a reread. It's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. You can't even see the title because this book is so old. I've had it since I was a kid. It's the only book out of the copies I had when I was a kid that I kept. All the other ones I gave away, and I've been meaning to reread the Harry Potter series for a while. So last summer I bought them all again on thrift books, except for this one because I already had it. And I've just been rereading slowly over the course of this year. And yeah, I don't feel like I need to flesh this out. Like, it's Harry Potter. What do you want me to say? I feel like this book is really nice though. I like the fall vibes of it. It's so weird. I don't want to like review Harry Potter. Like, I don't know what I would say. But yeah, definitely nostalgic, and I'm glad that I've been rereading the books because it's so easy to just flip through them during the summertime. The next book I read was The Ring and Crown by Melissa de la Cruz. This was, listen, there was a lot of tea in this book. Like, there was a lot of drama, and it definitely keeps you invested. So it's very much a short read, not tedious at all. I find that some books I get like, okay, come on, like, let's get into the drama. This gets right into it, okay? And it's a lot of magic in there, a lot of fantasy, romance, royalty, obviously. It definitely gave period piece Bridgerton vibes. I would listen to it on my way to work when I worked at Barnes & Noble, and I listened to like Princess Chord playlist while I was reading it. So that's definitely the vibes of this book. It also does touch on like deeper subjects, and I wasn't really expecting that. But I feel like the way it does it is really efficient and not, you know, it's not anything too crazy, you know what I mean? But yeah, I really love this book. And I feel like I would give this to a friend to read. I don't know if I would read it again. It was good, but you know, one and done. It's not like a series or anything. But yeah, I definitely recommend. Okay, the next book I read was A Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. She is amazing. I was really into this book. I could not put it down. There's a Hulu show based on the book, but I feel like the book is superior in every single way. The characters are so complex. Mia Wright was a character that I'm still to this day trying to figure out because she's so complicated and interesting, and you can't really get her vibe, you know what I mean? But the character that I understood most was Elena Richardson, not because I agreed with her or I related to her, but because there's so many white middle class, upper middle class, you know, white collar women who remind me of her, that exist still to this day, have the same sentiments as her, you know, the same white savior complex that she kind of had. And I feel like this book was, it touches on a lot of questions about race and morality and ethics, and it's like an internal debate in your head the whole time that you're reading this book. I also feel like it creates like such a relatable environment within the book in a neighborhood, Shaker Heights. Even though I have literally never in my life lived in a neighborhood that's organized, I guess. I haven't lived in a neighborhood such as that, but for some reason, the way that she writes it in the book makes you really immersed in it. It makes you feel like, okay, yeah, I understand exactly what this is about. The way it talks about race is very relatable still to this day, and it's supposed to be based in the 90s. I just feel like it provides a really good insight as to how people thought at that time and how people still do think today. Yeah, this is a really good book. Definitely recommend. I literally couldn't put it down. I've had it for a year now, a couple of years actually. I think my aunt gave it to me for Christmas, and I didn't get up to reading it until this summer. I was kind of like on the fence about it, but it's fucking amazing and I love it so much. Thank you for listening. Okay, so this next book that I read, and I'm still in the process of reading because I kind of took a pause on reading it, is Kickboxing Geishas: How Modern Japanese Women Are Changing Their Nation by Veronica Chambers. The author is a Black woman who spent some time in Japan kind of studying Japanese culture, Japanese women. It touches on different like fashion styles that Japanese women are invested in and how that relates to feminism in Japan and how women are navigating such a male-dominated society in Japan. It touches on Japanese women in the workplace, Japanese women in art, everything that it could touch on. I feel like it does, and it does it in such an engaging way. You really get to learn about the different subcultures of Japan, the different styles, and the history behind styles. Maybe not as much anymore, but I feel like people have this misconception of fashion and don't think that it means anything. But the way that these women in these books were navigating how they portrayed themselves and how they, you know, dressed was so rooted in how they were perceived as women, period. So I feel like this is a really good book if you want to learn just about, if you want to talk about women, which who doesn't? Like, who doesn't want to talk about women all the time? But also if you want to see how they navigate in such in a society where they're not really, you know, raised up to be businesswomen and raised up to be as successful as men, like most women. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I'm not done with it, but and I keep reading it. I've had this book for a while. I don't know where it even came from. I've literally had this book since I was a kid, and I started looking at it one day and I was like, I should, when I was cleaning my bookshelf, thank you Marie Kondo, and I was like, I should read this book, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I'm doing it. The last book on this list, which I'm also still in the process of reading, is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I picked this up when I was working at Barnes & Noble, so I had that employee discount, and I just kind of was really intrigued by the cover because it's so nice. Look at that. I want to live in an apartment like that, guys. And that it's based in New York. I love New York. I go to NYU, so this is like right up my alley. It's a coming-of-age story about a girl named Francie in the early 1900s. And I wasn't expecting that. I didn't really know what this book was about. I'd heard of it before. I didn't even know that it was like a beloved classic though, but I wasn't expecting the time period. I would say that turned me off at first, but I was like, okay, we're trying to diversify our reading taste. We're trying to diversify the books that we read. Let's give this a chance. And I'm glad that I did. I would say that it starts out kind of slow. I wasn't really into it until over 100 pages in, honestly, but I stuck through it like a trooper, and I still do recommend this book. But yeah, I feel like it really is ahead of its time in the way that it navigates questions about class and how growing up poor, you know, shapes your mind. Francie is a character who grows up in a lower class neighborhood, and the way that she's very ambitious, and I think that her ambitions are driven by her fears and driven by her financial status and how she's treated because of her class by other people who can't relate to her situation. She's a very imaginative little girl. I feel like Francie is a manifestation of all little girls still to this day. I relate to her because she's a writer. She's very creative. She's imaginative, like I said. I love the characters in this book. Betty really does a good job at, like, I don't know, making you feel like you're, I don't want to say a part of the family because that's so cliche, but making you feel like you know these characters and you know their tropes and you know their types. Definitely gets into family dynamics, immigration, class, everything, and it's emotionally engaging too. I did get a little bit emotional while reading this book. So okay, so those are all the books that I read this summer. Hopefully more books to come before the summer ends. We still have like a week until I get back to school. Hope that you enjoyed watching. I hope to have more books. I hope to have more videos on books later in my YouTube career, okay? So thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.